This is a Google Pixel 4a. Now, it's worth noting that this isn't the new 5G version, but it's the regular one. This phone is only a couple weeks old, and I've had some time to use it and get some thoughts about it. And I think I'd like to start off with the software. It's pretty close to bone stock Android you're getting on this phone, and it runs well. I had been used to Samsung's One UI for a while, and this took a bit to get used to, but the one thing I couldn't get used to were the gesture controls, weirdly enough, because all phones without home buttons are all about gesture controls now, but I can't get used to them. But luckily you can change it to a basic 3-button layout in the settings. This phone is also supposed to get 3 years of Android updates, which is amazing because compared to some of Samsung's stuff, that's pretty good, although Apple's way ahead in the game even still. I think it's regrettable that making sure your phone is secure for a few years depends on what your manufacturer is, running the same damn operating system usually with similar specs. Now, one thing the software is good at is adapting around this little hole punch display. Now, hole punch displays I think are something pretty personal, like if you like it or not, but I personally don't mind it. It sort of just fades into your peripheral vision, and it's not like much is there anyways while you're watching videos unless you decide to spring up the video. Moving on to the screen though, this is a 1080p OLED display, making this one of the cheapest phones you can get an OLED in. The screen gets plenty bright for outdoor viewing and also has HDR support, and the colors are pretty good if not a bit on the cool side. And viewing angles are par for the course for OLEDs, but it doesn't spill over the side or anything like Samsung's Edge phones do, so it's not exactly bezel-less, but it does maintain very good use of its chassis. It's also only a 60Hz screen, but at this price, I wouldn't really be complaining. The build of this phone is basic and sleek, which allows Google to use plastic on the chassis but still have it look and feel good in the hand. The phone only comes in this matte black color, but you could change out with the skin, of course. The only thing that annoys me about this design is the fingerprint sensor is made out of the same material that the back is, which reminds me of those really HP trackpads from 2009, but it's not really that big of an issue and you can usually locate it just fine. Moving to the inside of this phone, we have a power-sipping Snapdragon 730G processor. Some people seem to be disappointed that it didn't include the higher-end 765G processor, however, this processor is certainly fast enough for most uses. Something else that needs no complaints is the camera system. It's a single 12-megapixel sensor, which doesn't sound impressive at all because it doesn't have a wide angle even though the 5G version does, but it costs like $100 more. It's certainly a decent enough. This phone performed well with close shots, far shots, shots with plenty of light, and even ones with no light at all. The video is alright, usable, but certainly not exceptional. This phone's camera is being compared to phones like the OnePlus Nord and iPhone SE, which are significantly more expensive. The fact that they can be compared is a huge testament to the value of this phone in the first place. Think about it, they already have a track record with the Pixel 3a being an amazing budget phone. They just knocked $50 off that and made an even better one, which makes this phone super easy to recommend. And even though the 5G version is going to be $500, I think this is still something pretty special. They're creating competition, and I'd love to see good things at this price point from now on. A good point that MKBHD made in one of his videos is that the high-end market of flagship phones is pushing the low-end market as well. Flagship phones are getting crazy these days. The new iPhone is rivaling cinema cameras. The Samsung Galaxy S20 is available with 16GB of RAM, and the OnePlus 8T Pro is one of the highest scoring phones on Geekbench now. This means that features that might have been flagship before can make their way into lower phones like this. Single sensors like this were common for many years, but now that we can make single sensors super good like this and make them cheap too, you can offer your consumers something really amazing at this price. Many cheaper phones now have in-display fingerprint readers, pop-up selfie cameras, wireless charging, and more. That's the magic of innovation, and I like where it's going. And while I was editing, I realized that I forgot to state my final verdict on the Pixel 4a, but I like it. It's a good phone. Calc G out.